I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
Welcome to the latest waste of time and distraction known as the Diddy trial. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. This should have never went to trial. There is no trial, and there is no case. Despicable man. You may not be a fan of him. I'm not a fan of him. But what he's being charged with, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution. Doesn't it seem a little redundant? Count 3 is literally the same as count 5. Count 2 is the same as count 4. Literally, there's no case here to begin with. There never was. For one thing, you're not going to be able to prove that Diddy, who's a billionaire, was making money trafficking his girlfriend of 10 years plus for sex and prostitution. If you are by the definition of the word cuck, that is not a crime. There are a lot of men that, for a variety of different reasons, or it can just be your personal preference, who enjoy watching their significant other have sex with other men. It's a thing. It's a form of sexuality. And you really can't discriminate against it. Everybody has their kinks. What goes on in your bedroom is your personal business. However, to prove that this man was forcing her to do that is going to be very difficult because, for one thing, they're using this man as a witness. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this man's testimony with the strong accent, but he was the initial person back in 2018 that said he was Diddy and Cassie's sex slave. He didn't say he was only Diddy's sex slave. He said Diddy and Cassie. He never said Cassie was being forced to do anything. If anything, she was Diddy's partner. This is one of the main witnesses, but this also pokes a big, huge hole in the case because at no time did he say Cassie was being forced to do something against her will or she didn't want to. And many times it's been reported that Cassie was the person who picked the men out that she wanted to sleep with. Everyone's not going to have a conventional, regular relationship. Everybody's not going to just have normal missionary sex with the person that they love, give them a kiss on the cheek, go to work, come home. Some people have different types of lives, different kinds of kinks. We really can't judge based on that. If you listen to his testimony, he talks about his sex with both of them. Not that him and Combs were taking turns raping Cassie, but it was an orgy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diddy,
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would not spend time what to do with Cassie. I was like a sex slave. Okay. For them, that's what I was.
So I wonder, is Cassie going to be charged with enslaving this man? I mean, if we're just going to go off of words and allegations, how can she also be a witness, but also be the co-conspirator? Now, the reason why this guy, I initially dismissed him, but it's just that now there's proof. He actually showed a NDA that apparently he was paid $5 million to not talk about anything that they ever did together when he was servicing Diddy and Cassie. Now that's a huge part of this. So that means that what he is saying is credible. At no time in his interview did he say Cassie was being forced to do anything against her will. Again, she was a willing participant. So how are you going to charge somebody for having sex with a willing participant? You know, when you look at these type of charges, and this is a billionaire, these are not the kind of charges that you would, they're so flimsy because everything's going to be up into interpretation. Transportation to engage in prostitution. What does that mean? Now, you would think that this means that he's a pimp and he's driving around one of his prostitutes and taking her to different places and people are paying him, etc. But that's not what Diddy is doing. He has money. It just gets, it's just a turn off for him to watch other men have sex with his girlfriend. You can't charge somebody for wanting to be a cuck. The racketeering is going to stem from the proceeds generated from the trafficking. He's not making money trafficking Cassie's box to other people in the industry. That's not what this was. They were together for over 10 years. She could have left him at any time and didn't. And then when she did decide to start, messing around with their personal trainer, and they broke up and she went and got married to this guy, Diddy didn't send a hit squad to go hunt her down and do anything to her. She's alive and well till this day. But the lifestyle is expensive. You've been for 10 years with a man with no budget. Then you get with a man who's a personal trainer. Eventually, your new husband is going to try to find a way for you to still have access to those unlimited resources that you had in your previous relationship. And that's why she sued him. He settled hoping that that would stop the bleeding from the public persecution he was going through, but he was wrong. I'm still going to stand by this. This whole case is about when Diddy tried to extort the Democrat Party. Before the election, he did have footage that he was threatening or offering to expose. Not sure what he wanted in return, if it was a dollar amount or some type of position maybe. But the Democrats destroyed him and they showed him who was in charge. He has a history of extortion. He extorted Diageo. Pay me this or I'm going to say you guys are racist. That's extortion. I'm going to get the black community to stop buying your poison water if you don't do this for me. I'm going to say you're racist. But you're not racist when you were paying me, but you're racist when you stop or when you don't give me more money or make me a partner, whatever you're asking for. He tried to do that to the Democrat Party. He had footage. They spanked him. The problem is they were able to keep him in jail, keep him off the streets. But remember, there's no stop and all they know is drive. There is no park. There is no slow down. All they know is go. So they have to go through with all this to the end. But at the end, Diddy will walk because there was never a case here to begin with. None of these are the charges that you would think that you would see for someone like him. You would think a murder or some kind of violence. But, for example, people keep bringing this up to me. They keep bringing up this video. And they're like, but Rico, he's running down a hallway and he catches Cassie and he fights her. He kicks her. He beats her ass in the hallway. For one thing, you don't know, they've been together for 10 years. 10 years. Sometimes you hate the person you've been with when you've been together for 10 years and you fight. Now, it seems like she got the short end of the stick in this video. You don't know what happened in the room. She could have won. You don't know. She could have dumped hot water on him, slapped him, took his phone, broke something. You don't know. But all we know is that it looks really, really bad that he's dragging her back to the hotel room. He's not dragging her back into a room like a sex slave. It's domestic violence. It happens. Anytime a couple is fighting and a man is winning, it looks bad. But again, none of those are the charges that he's facing. None of those are the charges. He's not being charged with domestic violence. He's not. He's being charged with racketeering, sex trafficking. None of this is domestic violence. So when people keep bringing that video up to me, it's inconsequential. For one thing, it's outside of the statutes of limitation. That video is from 2015. They have been together for years. I've been with women where they love domestic violence. They love to get their ass kicked. They love for someone to grab them and choke them. They want to feel small and they want you to be real strong and dominating. However, you have to consent to that as a man. The reason I broke up with women who wanted me to do that is, for one thing, I had a girlfriend And I still talk to her, but she'd be like, Rico, I want you to slap me when we're having sex and when we're not having sex. I want you to choke me. I want you to do it. And I was like, you know what? What if we break up, right? But I'm used to doing all this. The next girl I get with, I slap her. She's going to slap me back during sex, and it's going to be weird. So I don't want to get used to doing this because you start, when you get with someone else, you think that she might like that too. Everyone's not into that. Also, I started getting nervous thinking I'm going to develop carpal tunnel. I'm slapping this girl during sex when she starts arguments because she wants to be slapped. And then she wants you to choke her. I'm not into the rough stuff. I'm not, bro. It's just not my thing. And as we're fighting and arguing, the last thing I'm thinking about doing is having sex. But that's when she wants to do it the most. But she was just so good looking that I was just like, okay, I'm just going to figure it out. And we do that for beautiful women sometimes. But could she come years later and say, you know what? I see Rico on TV now. He has this show he's doing. And actually, I think I was actually getting abused and yada, yada. It could happen. It could happen to anybody. You can sue us. You can sue a ham sandwich. But can you prove it? In Diddy's case, you can charge a ham sandwich. Can you prove it? The answer is no. There is no proof that he was engaging in transportation to make Cassie a prostitute. He's a billionaire. That's his girlfriend, his sex toy, but it's also his partner. She was also banging guys with him. This guy, banging the hell out this guy. And it turns out that this guy was not. Now, of course, he lost his mind. He went into the Trump Hotel. He got into a shootout with the police. They shot him in the legs. And then he starts blabbing about being a sex slave. And I never understood why. Is he trying to get himself out of trouble? I don't know what he's doing, but he admits all this stuff. And it turns out that there's some credibility. There is an NDA. But what if he just drafted up a fake NDA? And, I don't know if it's been investigated, but I mean, $5 million is a lot of money, but why would you pay him $5 million to not talk about something? I mean, what was it? So what was he around seeing? I don't know. But he doesn't say it in this video. He just says he was having sex with both of them, consenting. So, and now they're saying on TMZ that one of the victims, so apparently there's allegedly 4 victims. The main victim, the primary person, is Cassie, his girlfriend. Everything is based around one victim. Now, apparently the other 2-3 people are barely victims. This guy is one of the victims, apparently. And victim number 4, we don't know yet. But victim number 3 is allegedly now missing, and they can't find her. And it's being reported on TMZ. And let's see what these 2 guys say about it.
Peremptory challenges against them. They're going to just kick them out. There are certain reasons you can't kick somebody off, although you don't have to disclose your reasons. If the judge finds that you're engaging in a racial pattern, if you're kicking all the black or all the white jurors off of the panel, the judge can step in and say, hey, I've got my eyes on you. Keep this kind of thing up. You're going to get sanctioned. That can't happen. These lawyers are way too sophisticated to do something like that. That won't happen here. But that's right.
And if you do something like that, it creates grounds for appeal. So you really have to mind your P's and Q's. You can use these peremptory challenges, but not for racial grounds, not for gender grounds. There's strict Supreme Court precedent about not using them for one of those, excludable categories.
All right, so that's what's going to happen on Friday. We're going to go 45 to 18, 12 main jurors, 6 alternates. We're going to have a jury again. We're going to have opening statements on Monday. Prosecutors were dealt some seriously bad news over the last couple of days. They can't find one of the 3 primary witnesses.
This is massive because we all know that their case hinges on these unnamed victims that they've listed out in their indictment, plus victim number 1, which everyone knows to be Cassie. She will testify, but victim number 3 is where all the action is because the prosecution has announced we're going to lead our case after opening statements with 2 witnesses and then a third who's going to take a longer period of time. Maybe that third witness is Cassie because there's a lot of juice going on there. But those first 2, one of whom is probably this victim number 3, who they say we simply can't locate. They have told the court, Prosecutor Maureen Comey told the court that the woman doesn't live near New York City. And despite their efforts to this point, they're concerned she won't even appear if subpoenaed. So this is something that comes up in trial. These are people who are going on with their lives. They may have been Diddy's girlfriend at some point, but you get a court subpoena and you got a job, you may say, I don't really want to show up. This is not my trial.
I'll tell you this. Putting Diddy in jail is not going to make these women any money. Diddy is only good to them or to anybody if he's free and able to still generate. Period. This person is probably weighing their options. Nothing Diddy did to this person who's a witness or who they're saying is a victim. It's basically like Andrew Tate's victims. They're not victims. You're telling these women that they're victims. They're not. And I guarantee when Cassie testifies, her testimony is not going to bury Diddy. It's actually going to exonerate him because she's going to show up. She's still married to a new guy. She's pregnant. And she's going to have to admit, I mean, with as much money as she made, she's going to eventually admit that she, in a roundabout way, that she was a willing participant. And actually, they were a team doing these things together. It wasn't against her will. She used to pick out the guys that she would bang. I'll be honest. Been in a long-term relationship before. Sometimes you get tired of having sex with that person. You're trying to spice it up. If you want to, everybody's into different things. You cannot judge when people have been together for 10 years. Just the same old regular sex. We're not all wired like that. And we can't force traditional, normal values onto everyone to the point where we're taking them to trial when they step outside of those boundaries. She got the money she wanted. It doesn't serve Cassie any purpose to go to testify against him. For what? You got what you wanted. You loved them. You were with them for a long period of time. Regardless, you guys had ups and downs. You guys spent a lot of time together. You basically, your whole life is because of him. Even your new husband doesn't even have a name. He's known as Cassie's new husband. And you only know, and everybody knows Cassie because of Diddy. She had a couple songs and she was cute, but they're all cute. I mean, you can get surgery and look good now as a woman. I mean, that's not special anymore. I think she's going to actually do Diddy more good than anything. But again, the charges that they're trying to levy against him, what they're accusing him of, it doesn't fit these charges. And so people keep coming to me and they're saying, well, what about this and what about that? I'm like, those are not the charges. There's so little to charge them with that they have to basically repeat the charges over again. They're just, I mean, they're redundant. And the RICO charge they had against him, they had to just also throw out. There is no RICO charge. Basically, the whole case is falling apart as we speak. The whole case is falling apart because there was never really a case there to begin with. And I've been saying that since he was arrested last year. I don't like the guy, and it doesn't serve me to defend him, and I'm not defending him. I'm actually just sitting here going over the facts. The facts are they're trying to say he was sex trafficking Cassie, his girlfriend, for money. He did not make $1 billion trafficking that girl. So the conspiracy for racketeering means you were basically you had a sex trafficking ring, and you were it's a racketeering. That's where it comes with the proceeds from the illegal crime, which of sex trafficking. This is a billionaire. These are the last things they're going to be able to find him guilty of. I don't give a fuck who the jury is. They're not going to be able to do it because it's not there. And he's from New York. Doesn't matter. Even in Alabama, even a country redneck would just scratch their neck and be like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense. So regardless of who the jury is going to be, I'll be honest, this is going to be over within, I'll say 3 weeks max, probably 2 weeks. This is over. And guess what? After he walks, no one's going to care because no one died and no one is crippled or there's really not even a real victim here. Cassie, his ex-girlfriend who just got 30 million allegedly, we don't exactly know how much it was, but it was around 30 million is what she wanted. And she got it. And then they still went ahead and prosecuted him. Again, this was blowback from him trying to extort the Democrat Party right before an election. And it blew back on him. And now he is no longer in their favor. Now, this is what I think he should have been locked up for. In my opinion, lock him up for this bullshit. Don't lock him up with the fake charges. Lock him up for this right here.
We're not standing by no more on getting killed. We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war.
So this is another idiot with TDS, and well, we're stand up and stare. Why would you be more worried about the Proud Boys than you are the Crips and the Bloods? Allegedly, who killed your best friend, Biggie Smalls? It wasn't a Proud Boy. Matter of fact, who kills all the rappers? No rappers have been killed by anybody white, I don't think, in the history of rap. But you want to sit up here and pretend Trump supporters and Proud Boys and race war. You guys are already having a race war between your own race every night in the streets, which makes our cities, which basically destroys the economies of Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, Metro Atlanta, Dallas. 87% of the country is being held hostage by 13% of the country. You're 13%, sir. And you want to sit here and pretend that Trump and the Proud Boys were your problem? Go fuck yourself. One thing I can't stand is disingenuous liars who make up and project onto other people their own issues. That is not the problem with the black community. The black community is the problem with the black community. And they're being enabled and they're weaponized by the left, by the LGBTQ. And you see what's going on right now with Carmelo and the guy who just ran over a cop in Cincinnati because his son was basically poised to start shooting at police and they got to him first. You know, these are problems that we're having. We don't have a race problem. We have a problem race. And so I think he should be locked up for incitement and for that nonsense and pushing those lies. I think that's a criminal offense, but none of those are. But to try to prove that he was sex trafficking, racketeering, engaged. No, those are the wrong charges. Charge him with lying about Trump and pushing a narrative of a fake race war and basically talking bad about Proud Boy. Charge him for this bullshit, not for made up nonsense charges, racketeering, conspiracy. What the fuck, are you serious? It's not even a drug case. This isn't drugs. This isn't murder. He's not even charged with Tupac's death. He's not charged with any of that. Like this is a waste. This whole thing is a waste. None of this is the stuff that people are. Oh man, Diddy, Busby has 200 people. He's not charged with graping 200 kids. He's not charged with graping Usher. He's not charged with graping Bieber. There's nothing in here about him wearing little. He took little Bieber and put the little white cheeks and he's a smash man. None of that is in here. But I talk to people in the public, even my friends, and they just project and they lie and they make up nonsense. And I'm like, where are you getting this from? And they're like, where are you getting it from? I said, I fucking read. None of this is hidden information. Read. It takes 10 seconds to read. What are Diddy's charges? Duh. 1 count, racketeering. 2 counts, subtract. That's it. It's that easy to know what's really going on. Can any of this stuff right here be proven? No. You couldn't. He's not a perfection. Bro, this is not the movie, The Sound of Dark. What is that movie called? Where they were trafficking kids? The Sounds of Darkness or something like that. This is not that movie. Diddy is not going state to state, moving around, putting Cassie on Backpage in Jersey, taking her to Lauderdale, got her on the blade in Portland, and then he put her on the track in Hollywood, and then he's making all that money, and he uses the money to buy drugs, and then the drug money proceeds he uses to buy music equipment to start rap. That's not what the fuck happened. None of that happened. That's what people are thinking and projecting, and it's not true. And unfortunately, that's why everybody's usually so disappointed when these cases don't go the way they thought it was going to go, because in their mind, it's not based on the reality of the charges of the case. They're just making stuff up. That's not what happened. Horrible picture of Diddy right here, though. I don't know why that's a janky picture. because apparently you can tell this is from before he had facial surgery. He had plastic surgery. This is after. It looks like a different guy. Yeah, they're talking about a race war. Charge them with that. Don't charge them with, this other stuff. This it's ridiculous. But yeah, they can't find that other person because that person is not going to show up to court. And guess what? They will be rewarded financially. If they showed up to court, testify, Diddy goes to jail, they get nothing. The court might not even be paying for their plane ticket to fly to New York. So really, you're going to lose money to go and make up stories about this man. I'll be honest. All my ex-girlfriends love me. But if you offer them some money to explain why we broke up, they're going to trash the fuck out of me. They're going to have, every buzzword, narcissist, sexist. He is, what are they going to say about me? Polygamist. He likes different, and they can make up stuff to make me sound horrible. But there has to be an incentive for them to go there and say this about me. But are they going to come? Would they come slam me for free? No. But guess what? If I'm free and one of them it falls on hard times and she needs a favor, she can call Rico and ask me for help, and I'll help her. Matter of fact, my ex-girlfriend and her mother are just happen to be in Houston right now, staying here at my house, and they don't got to pay for a hotel or food or anything. They have a relative that's really sick, that's in the hospital, passing away, and they're here visiting her. They've been coming out here for 3 weeks. They don't know anybody in Houston, and guess who they get to stay with? And this is a girlfriend who used to talk bad about me too. Say all these different things about me to explain why I broke up with her. That's how it goes in relationships. But when they start to think about it, this woman, again, she'll be paid and made money if she doesn't show up to court. But if she does show up and he goes and she lies on him and say, God forbid, he gets convicted over nothing, then she doesn't there's no prize coming in the mail that's for her. There's no Diddy check that's coming if he goes to jail. You're not going to get jack shit. But if he's free, you can call him and ask for something and he'll give it to you. Again, this video of him kicking her ass and pulling her in that hallway, but he didn't drag her back to the hotel room. He just drug her and told her to get her ass up and come back in the room. It's a relationship. But again, he's not being charged. There's no domestic violence charge. So I don't even know. Think about it. There's no counts in here about having an excessive amount of baby oil. That's the number one thing we all are talking about is all the baby oil that Diddy was using, all the men and women he rubbed baby oil on and kids, but yet he's not charged with having excessive amounts of lubrication in his bathroom. So why were we talking about? That's how I knew there was no case, because they kept talking about nonsense to just embarrass the man. But in this new age, right, everybody loves the gays and the trans. So why are you using him being gay as an insult? You can't have it both ways. Is it insulting to be gay or is it a compliment? You can't have it both ways. So, I mean, again, there is no case here. This is a waste of time. This man will walk. There's no way to prove any of these. And none of them make sense for a billionaire. He's not known for sex trafficking. That's why there's only one woman who's claiming to be his main victim. And the other three people are just, there's not even anybody accusing him of much. But none of these are the charges people think that he would be charged with. And none of it makes any sense. So I'm gonna leave it here. I have another segment coming up shortly. We're gonna go over the TikTok kids that got shot, kicking that person's door, punching on it. We're gonna dive into that. So I'll be back shortly. I'm gonna eat some hummus, and then I'll be right back. So like and subscribe, share the video. The Single Boyfriend, the Safe and Effective Podcast. If you're on that page on YouTube, follow me if you can. It's the Single Boyfriend across the board, except on Twitter, it's the Single Hubby. Boyfriend wouldn't fit. So thank you, and we'll talk shortly. But yeah, don't get yourself too hyped up. This Diddy case is going nowhere fast as hell. Thank you, and talk to you shortly.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.